An underground living room? People laughed. They gossiped. They couldn't understand why anyone would spend so much time, money, and energy on such a bizarre project. Little did they know, Elizabeth's crazy idea was about to become a stroke of genius that would leave everyone speechless. So, let's set the scene. Elizabeth lived in a quiet, ordinary suburban neighborhood where conformity was king. Then came Elizabeth, with her shovels, her blueprints, and a vision that nobody else could see. She started digging. Day after day, she'd be out in her backyard, hauling away dirt, looking more like a construction worker than a typical suburbanite. Her neighbors would watch from their windows, whispering to each other. "What on earth is she doing?" they'd ask. "Is she building a bunker? Has she lost her mind?" Others joked she was trying to dig a tunnel to another country. Elizabeth, however, was unfazed. She had a clear vision. She wasn't just digging a hole. She was creating a unique, subterranean sanctuary. Her dream was a cozy, earth-sheltered space that would be naturally insulated, energy-efficient, and completely one-of-a-kind. She imagined a room where the temperature would remain stable year-round, cool in the summer, and warm in the winter, all thanks to the insulating power of the earth itself. Finally, the project was complete. She had transformed a giant hole in her yard into a stunning, fully furnished living room. It had comfortable sofas, a small kitchenette, bookshelves built right into the earthen walls, and that gorgeous skylight that made the space feel open and airy. She invited a few neighbors over, hoping they'd finally understand her vision. While some were politely impressed, most still saw it as a strange and unnecessary extravagance. "It's interesting," they'd say, "but what's the point?" Then, winter arrived. And it wasn't just any winter. It was the kind of brutal, record-breaking cold snap that meteorologists talk about for decades. An unprecedented ice storm swept through the region, coating everything in a thick, heavy layer of ice. Power lines, weighed down by the immense pressure, began to snap. One by one, transformers blew out, plunging the entire region into a sudden, shocking darkness. Panic set in. Without electricity, there was no heat. Houses that were once warm and comfortable quickly became iceboxes. And officials announced that it could be days, maybe even weeks, before power was fully restored. This is where our story takes a dramatic turn. While her neighbors shivered in their homes, Elizabeth was perfectly comfortable. She headed out to her backyard, descended the stairs into her underground living room, and found herself in a haven of warmth. The earth surrounding her subterranean space acted as a perfect natural insulator, shielding her from the brutal cold above. The temperature inside was a stable, comfortable 68 degrees Fahrenheit, no furnace required. The geothermal effect she had so carefully planned for was working exactly as she'd envisioned. While the world above ground was frozen and chaotic, her underground sanctuary was peaceful and warm. Word began to travel, not as a rumor this time, but as a desperate whisper of hope. One of Elizabeth's neighbors, a young family with a newborn baby, was growing increasingly desperate. Their house was dangerously cold, and they were running out of ways to keep their infant warm. Swallowing his pride, the father remembered Elizabeth's crazy underground room. He bundled up his family and knocked on her door, asking if they could possibly take shelter with her for just a little while. Without a moment's hesitation, Elizabeth welcomed them in. As they walked down the stairs and felt the wave of warmth wash over them, their eyes widened in disbelief. It was like stepping into another world. Soon, others followed. The same neighbors who had once laughed and pointed were now knocking on her door, their faces etched with worry, asking for help. Elizabeth's single underground living room quickly became a communal shelter for the entire neighborhood. She welcomed everyone, sharing her food, her warmth, and her space. The room was filled with people, families, elderly couples, even pets. They shared stories, played card games by candlelight, and looked after one another. The very space that had once been a symbol of Elizabeth's eccentricity had now become the heart of the community, a beacon of warmth and safety in a time of crisis. The laughter and chatter that filled the room weren't mocking anymore. They were sounds of gratitude and camaraderie. In those few days, huddled together underground, the neighbors saw Elizabeth in a whole new light. They weren't just physically warmed by her shelter, they were emotionally warmed by her kindness. When the power was finally restored and people could return to their own homes, the way they looked at Elizabeth had changed forever. The crazy woman who dug a hole in her yard was now their hero. Elizabeth's story is a powerful reminder that sometimes the most innovative ideas are the ones that challenge our conventions. It teaches us not to be so quick to judge what we don't understand. The things that seem crazy at first might just be solutions to problems we haven't even encountered yet. It's about having the courage to follow your vision, even when no one else can see it. And in the end, her unique creation did more than just prove her right. It brought an entire community together and kept them safe. So the next time you see someone doing something that seems a little out of the ordinary, maybe take a closer look. You might just be witnessing a stroke of genius in the making. Thank you so much for watching. What do you think of Elizabeth's underground living room? Would you ever consider building something similar? Let me know your thoughts in the comments below. And if you enjoyed this story, don't forget to hit that like button and subscribe for more incredible stories, just like this one. See you next time.